Good morning, ma. Welcome to Alpha Online Education. Commerce theory part for the second year's English medium. The chapter that we are dealing with, that is the sixth chapter. So in the sixth chapter, we have setting up of a business, how we will start the business, how we will set up the business, the starting initial stage of the business. In order to start, what are the procedures are there? Let us see. Process of setting up of a business. So the setting up of a business involve two stages. Okay, in order to start the business, two stages are required, or two stages should have to be passed by one in order to start an organization or in order to start a business. So what are those stages? The first stage is preliminary stage, and the second one is implementation stage. The first stage is preliminary stage, means it's the starting stage. Next one is implementing stage. Now it is the time to implement those things into action. Whatever the decisions are taken in the preliminary stage, those things have to be implemented into the action in the implementation stage. The details are discussed below. So we will discuss in this session, in this first session, we are going to discuss about the preliminary stage, step 1, step 2 and step 3 in this session, and the remaining steps we will discuss in the next session. See here, preliminary stage. Once an entrepreneur become aware of the concept, okay, entrepreneur means the person who is going to start the business or the person who is started the business. Okay, once he is aware of the concept, means once he got the awareness regarding the concept of the business, he could make up his mind and proceed towards taking a correct action to establish the unit. It means once an entrepreneur decided to start the business, once he selected which kind of business he has to start, next he will start making his mind preparation in way only. He will not think some other way. He will go in that way only. He will search the information in that way only, because now his mind is completely thinking about that particular concept. Okay, for setting up a project, certain procedures are to be followed. Okay, whatever the project he prepared, in order to start, for that he has to follow certain procedures. So these procedures are governed by the current rules and regulations of the state and central government. So these procedures are generally levied or governed or imposed by the state government or the central government. Whatever the rules, regulations that are given by the state government or the central government, that should have to be fulfilled in order to start an entrepreneurship. Okay, the steps followed in the promotion of a venture are discussed below. So these are, in this session we are going to cover the 3 steps. The remaining 6 steps we are going to cover in the next session. So first, step 1, decision to be self-employed. Self-employed means such type of thinking, the person will not willing to work under some others' coordination. Okay, the person who is not ready to work under someone's coordination or someone's supervisory, then that person will do his own business. Okay, at that time when a person is doing his own business, no one is need to control him, right? He only control his subordinates, right? So decision to be self-employed. Now the entrepreneur should have to take the decision of self-employed. An entrepreneur should at the outset undertake a market survey of the product line chosen by him or her before establishing the industrial unit. So before starting the industrial unit or before starting the business project, the entrepreneur should have to conduct a survey regarding the product line what product he want to going to launch or what product he going to manufacture, he has to first determine, he should have to know what is the demand for that product, what is the response of the customer towards that product. That should have to be determined him. Afterwards only he can implement to the other stages. Okay, these would help in gaining and insight to the existing marketing conditions and market reaction for the production. So when he will do the market survey, at that time he can know what's the market condition and how the market customers are reacted to that particular production. He can know by a deep survey or a deep study regarding a particular market product or the product which is going to he launch. Okay, so the factors influence the decision. So these are the internal factors. Internal factors means within the entrepreneur. These factors will affect him, and these are the external factors which affect the decisions. So let us see first internal factors. First one is educational background. So what is the educational background of the entrepreneur? If he is well educated, if he is having the good skills, then he can take the correct decision. Occupational experience. If he does not have particular educational qualification but he have the experience of that occupation, then also he can take the correct decision. Desire to work independently in manufacturing line. If he having a desire means korika. If he has a desire to work independently, means in order to work individually, if he have such a desire, then he can work in the manufacturing line. Desire to branch out to manufacturing. Okay, if he having a desire to start the branches of manufacturing outside the country or outside his district or village, then he can take the decision. Okay, family background is also important. Sometimes, as you have studied in your first year, that in the joint Hindu family, that is hereditary model of business, means from forefather to grandfather, from grandfather to father, and from father to son, means వంశ పారంపరంగా వస్తుంది. Yes, joint Hindu family అనేది వంశ పారంపరంగా వస్తుంది. అదే విధంగా if he having any family background, then it will become a plus point for him. Other factors, any other factors which are related with that. Okay, external factors. Let us see now how the external factors influence while taking the decisions. Okay, assistancy from the government. Okay, whatever the assistancy, whatever the government to provide the information, whatever the facilities the government provide, that are considered. Assistancy from financial institutions like banks, how they are providing the credit facility in the form of loans and advances, that is also should have to be considered while taking the decisions to start the business. Okay, availability of technology and raw material. How much raw material is needed in tons or in units, and what type of technology is required, what kind of advanced technology is needed or traditional technology is needed, that should be decided here. Demand for the product. So what the product line is going to choose by the entrepreneur, for that whether there is a demand or no, that should also be considered here. Next, utilization of excess funds. If he having excess funds, if the entrepreneur have the excess fund, he can utilize those excess funds by starting the number of branches, by establishing the number of branches. As his branches expand, his income is also expand. So there is an interrelation between one factor and other factor. So these are the first step of decision to be self-employed. Based on these internal factors and the external factors, one entrepreneur can take the decision whether to start what kind of business and what kind of product line he has to select. Okay, so this is about the first step. Now let us move on to the step 2, right? Yes, step 2, study and scanning business environment. Studying and scanning the business environment. After taking the decision to be self-employed, the entrepreneur should study the following business environment. Okay, after he taken the decision that he want to be a self-employed, after that he have to study the following business environment. Business environment is very much important because the business is going to be start in a society where there will be unique kind of people. So it will be very much necessary here. Administrative framework, okay, policy guidelines, rules and regulations. About these he has to know. Who? He means who here? Entrepreneur. Entrepreneur has to know. Administrative framework constitutes source of idea to the entrepreneur which are provided by. So administrative framework will provide the idea. It constitutes, it build an idea for the entrepreneur regarding what type of things what type of things should they have to be framed. One is development commission will help to provide the information. Associated institutions will help the entrepreneur to provide information, and the state government is also help the entrepreneur to provide the information which is necessary for the entrepreneur to continue his business or to start his business. The policy guidelines and rules and regulations are provided by the government concerned. The policies which are connected with his business or the rules or regulations which are connected with his business are completely explained or provided by the government concerned. Yes, this is the second step. Now the third step, selection of idea. In this stage the idea should have to be selected. It is an innovative idea, so he has to decide now what the thing he is going to do, whether it is an innovative one. Innovative one means kotta idea na demena. Whether the competition in the area is less, the area, the path in which he is going, whether there is a good heavy competition or less competition, whether raw material is easy available. He has to think whether the raw material are easy available or whether he have to go for the import from some other foreign country, whether infrastructure facilities via industry, land, power, water, etc. are available. So what are the infrastructure facilities are needed? Those facilities are available in the area where he going to start those industry. Whether government policy encourage production of the product which he is going to start, whether the government will encourage that type of product or the government will discourage those type of products. So those things he have to think and he have to select one idea from these number of questions. So this is the third step. Let us know the fourth step and the remaining steps in the second session of this chapter. Good morning ma, welcome to Alpha Online Education Commerce Theory part for the second year's English medium. The chapter that we are dealing with, that is the sixth chapter, setting up of a business. So this is the second session of the chapter. So this is the continuation for the first session. So in the first session we have discussed about the preliminary stages. So this is the fourth stage, that is deciding organization structure. The entrepreneur should have to decide the organization structure, whether his organization is going to be a sole proprietorship or it will be a partnership form or a cooperative society or any other form of joint stock company, okay, Hindu undivided family. So what type of his organization should be, that type of structure should have to be decided in the step 4. In the fourth step he has to decide that. And the fifth stage is preparation of the project report. Okay, this is the stage of preparation of project report. Having decided upon the product and organization, the entrepreneur has to put his idea and other information out in black and white. So the idea of starting which type of organization and also which type of product he want to produce, those information, whatever he decided, those decided things, now it is the time for the entrepreneur to place those things in black and white way. So black and white way means on the white paper he have to write in a black ink. So with that he have to prepare a project report. These should be so well presented that there provides all relevant information in reference to the project. So the project report should contain a clear information, a detailed explanation regarding the structure of the product, regarding the features of the project and what is the main objective of this organization, whether it providing service to the organization or whether it going to provide the product to the organization or commodity to the organization, to the society, what is going to it give. So it should be clearly explained by project report. So a project report should normally cover brief introduction of the proposed project. Generally the project report should contain the brief explanation. Okay, the explanation should be a brief means deep and clear explanation regarding the proposed project, which project they have proposed, and the constitution and the nature of the unit, their own constitution, rules, regulations, nature, what type of organization it is, whether it is a sole proprietorship or partnership or cooperative society or joint in the family or a joint stock company. Then afterwards he has to deal of the marketing and competition. What is the marketing available for that product and how many competitors are there for those products. Manufacturing process, what are the stages, what are the steps are there while manufacturing. Okay, machine and plant capacity, what type of machineries they needed, what capacity of machineries are needed, how many units they can produce at a time. Those things should have to be considered here. After that, raw materials availability, where the raw material is available for these type of product and what are the land building requirements, etc. factors, all the things should have to be explained in detail in the project report. When the project report is clear, then it can get an approval easily. So step 6, project appraisal stage. So whatever you have written in the paper, now it is the stage or a step to appraise that project. A final view of the proposal is taken, which is based on the combination of the factors like technical, financial, commercial, managerial, operational. So after taking all the factors into consideration, these factors are also needed. Technical, what type of technology you want to going to introduce in the production line. Finance, from which financial institutions you are going to raise the credit. Commercial, whether the organization which you are started, whether its motive is profit or service. Next, managerial, how many directors will be there, how many managing directors will be there, how many board of directors will be there, how many employees you are going to employ, and how many laborers you are going to keep. Those all things have to be. And operation, what kind of activities will be carried out daily. Okay, bank and financial institutions required to examine the validity of the project before deciding whether to provide financial assistance or not. So bank and financial institutions, before they are going to give credit to the entrepreneur, in order to start the project, they first get satisfied. First the bank and the financial institution should have to satisfied with the project report. If they are satisfied, then only the credit is sanctioned to him. otherwise it is cancelled. It is essential for a financial institutions to ensure beforehand the project then the project will generate sufficient returns on the resources invested. So the bank should have such type of guarantee before handling that credit to the entrepreneur. Whatever the investment he is, the entrepreneur, whatever the investment he is going to invest, whether he will get in return form or not, there is a possibility of generating profit or there is a possibility of generating the loss. So that type of examination is generally done by the bank and other financial institutions which are ready to provide finance to these entrepreneur. Okay, in the 7th stage, selection of the location and the site. So in which location they are going to start that business and in which site they are going to start the business, that is completely selected in the step 7. Nearness to the market and nearness to the raw material. So the location of the industry or the industrial unit, it should be near to the market, okay, near to the raw materials. Okay, it should be near to the market and near to the raw materials. Availability of power and water. The place where this industrial unit is going to be established, at that place there should be availability of power and water. Availability of modern transport, and the cost is also needed for the transport. Okay, modern transport system means what we say, lorries, tractors, and ships, airways, railways. Yes, those are available. And the whatever the cost should also be in the favor of the entrepreneur. Availability of required skills. Availability of required skills. Whatever the skills are required, those type of employees are also available. Those place is selected in order to start the business. Climate conditions, environmental factors affecting the industry, etc. So climatic conditions, see, we know that in our India itself, the different states will face the different climatic conditions. Yes, so this is generally happen. So climatic conditions and environmental factors, they generally affect the industrial productions, right? If we take the Jammu and Kashmir, at that time, now in the winter season there is no water at all, totally it is covered with the snow. So these type of things are there, so they will disturb the industrial production. So that's why these all things have to be considered while selecting the location or while selecting the site. These all are very most important things. Next step 8, provisional registration. Provisional registration means it is a type of registration which is generally done, and later the registration which is necessary, those registration is done. This is temporary basis. It enables a party to take the necessary steps to bring the unit into existence. See, after providing satisfactory proof to the units having come into existence, it can be converted into a regular registration later. So whatever the satisfactory proofs it will give, after that, if there are satisfied, the registrar is satisfied, then he will change that provisional registration into legal registration. It will take some time. Okay. Application for provisional registration is submitted to the district industrial centre. So these application, in order to get a provisional registration, for that purpose an application is prepared and it is submitted to the district industries centre. So for them, there will be this type of application is submitted in those industrial centers. Next, step 9. Inquiry for machinery and technology. Now the time to know which type of technology is needed, and inquiring about the technology and also the machinery, which type of machinery is needed here. The requirement of the machinery or equipment, spare parts, tools, etc. should be properly assessed, and the proper size of plant and machinery should be decided upon. So the size of the plant and machinery and what type of machinery, tools or equipments are needed, and what should be the size of that machinery. So those things should be decided in the step 9. Okay. Once the fixed assets are created, it will be very difficult. Once the fixed assets means fixed assets are those assets which can't be converted easily into the cash. Okay. Even though if you want to convert the fixed assets into cash, the depreciation will be levied on those fixed assets. Okay. So it is very difficult to change those fixed assets into cash. So very carefully the entrepreneur should have to decide which type of machinery or which type of plant he want. Credited will be very difficult to change them. The machinery should be necessary and adequate. So the machinery is very important in nowadays industries, because the 100 peoples what they will do for one day, that work will be completed by the machinery in just in 2 hours or in 1 hour. So the machinery is very much needed to complete the work very fast and very effectively. So these are the steps of the preliminary stage, and in the next session we will discuss about the implementation process. Okay. In the next session we will meet with the new concept, that is implementation process. Right. Good morning ma, welcome to Alpha Online Education. Commerce theory part for the second year's English medium. The chapter that we are dealing with, that is the 6th chapter, setting up a business. So this is the 3rd session of the chapter. So in the previous session we have discussed the initial preliminary stages. So in this stage we see the implementation stage, how we have to implement the setting up of a business. Okay. So here the second stage in the promotion of a venture is the implementation stage. So the second stage for the promotion means for the development of a venture or small scale enterprise. The second stage is here, that is the implementation stage. It comprises of 12 steps and details are explained below. And these implementation stage consisting of totally 12 steps. Okay. In order to implement the venture, we have to cross the 12 steps, then we can implement the venture. So here step 1, statutory license or clearance. So statutory license or clearance means the first license or the clearance certificate we require in order to start our activities, right? So various administrative bodies have been set up to consider the request for the issue of industrial license, import of capital equipment, foreign capital, etc. In order to give the permission of permission in the form of industrial license or industrial clearance, for that purpose various administrative bodies are being set up. Okay. Various administrative bodies have been set up to give the permission according to the request of the entrepreneur. They will give the permission by issuing the industrial license, and they give the license for the import of capital equipment and for the foreign capital or collaborations. Okay. These bodies are expected to decide the request within the stipulated time limit. So these bodies will decide within a specific time limit. These bodies will decide whether we have to grant the permission or we should have to disapprove the proposal. So within the specified time limit, these administrative bodies will take the decision. If they are satisfied, then they will issue the license. If they are not satisfied, then they will cancel the license. So the industrial license is issued on furnishing evidence that the prescribed conditions are fulfilled. So what the industrial license indicates here means, if the license is issued to the entrepreneur, it means that he has filled all the conditions, whatever the conditions that are required for the issuing of the license, that prescribed conditions have been fulfilled by the person who entrepreneur. So if these administrative bodies are issuing that license means, it means that the entrepreneur has given total submitted and given total things, what are the forms are required for the sanctioning or for the issuing of the license, what are the documents are there, that is completely fulfilled by the entrepreneur. A license from the government of India is necessary for the manufacture of many articles included in the Schedule 2 IRD Act 1951. So in order to manufacture so many things in India, they should have the license is needed. According to IDR Act 1951, for certain types of goods are there in that act. For such types of goods, the license is a mandatory thing. After these, step 1, after getting the statutory license, the step 2 here, that is arrangement of finance. Now the finance requirement should have to be fulfilled. So term loan, long-term requirement for acquiring fixed assets. So the term loans are taken to purchase or to buy the fixed assets. Means those assets which are used for a long period of time, those assets are known as fixed assets, such as land building, plant machinery, these all are fixed assets. Bridge loans. So bridge loan is a loan that is between the term loan and between the working capital. So what it do, loan is granted for the short duration. Okay, these bridge loans are granted for a period of short duration till the term loan is sanctioned, till the entrepreneur apply for the term loan and that application will become sanctioned. Up to that period, the entrepreneur will have the bridge loan facility. And afterwards, working capital, short-term advances of working capital in the form of cash, credit, bills facility. Okay, just like bill discounting, these all are facilities, yes, are there now, credit bills, yes. So those things are there, bill of exchange, these all fall under the category of short-term advances, promissory notes. So these are required for the day-to-day working capital, means in order to purchase daily raw material, in order to pay daily wages. For these purposes, whatever the daily requirements are there, in order to fulfill that, we require the working capital. Okay, next step 3, application for financial assistance. Now we have to apply for the financial assistance. See, after the project is finalized, provisional registration and other formalities are completed, the entrepreneur has to submit an application for financial assistance. Okay, along with the project report to the financial institution, bank, for a term loan. So after the formalities of registration, okay, finalization of the project and the provisional registration is completed and other formalities are also completed, after that the entrepreneur should have to apply for the financial assistance to the financial institutions or the banks in order to get these term loans. Okay, in order to get these term loans, they have to submit some of the forms and applications to the financial institutions or to the banks, right? Yes, to the financial institutions and banks. Enclosed with the application for term loans. So in order to get the term loan, the following documents have to be enclosed, means they have to furnish these following documents. Copy of the project report. The copy, what is the copy is there regarding the project, that copy of the project report. Copy of the partnership deed, memorandum and article of association. Okay, if it is a partnership business, then that partnership deed and memorandum of association, article of association, that should have to be furnished. Okay, so quotations in respect of plant and machinery. So how much cost plant and machinery you are going to purchase, those things have to be correctly quoted. Copy of the possession receipt agreement to lease in respect of land. If you are taking anything on the lease basis, you don't have sufficient money to purchase, in such case you have entered into a lease agreement. Okay, lease agreement, in that case you have to submit that agreement document also. Income tax assessment order, so whatever the income tax you are paying regularly, that assessment order also you have to be submit, or income tax clearance relating to partners or directors. So related with the partners or directors, there will be income tax clearance that is issued by the income tax department, that should also be submitted to the bank or financial institutions in order to get the financial assistance. Copy of the proposed building plan. If you are not going to hire, if you are not going to hire, or if you don't want to take anything on the lease basis, in that case you are going to plan a building. At that time you have to submit the proposed plan building also. Copies of balance sheet and profit and loss account for the previous years relating to the associated consent if any of the promoters. So copies of balance sheets and the profit and loss account of the previous years should have to be submitted. After submitting these all things, if the bank gets satisfied or the financial institution gets satisfied, then it will issue the term loan. So this is about the 3 steps, and the remaining steps we will discuss in the next session. Good morning ma, welcome to Alpha Online Education. Commerce theory part for the second year's English medium. The chapter that we are dealing with, that is the 6th chapter, setting up of business. So this is the 4th session of the chapter. In this session we are going to discuss the remaining things which are necessary for the implementation stage. So step 4, building construction and civil works. So if you are not hiring the building, if you are not taking the land on the lease, in that case you have to go for the civil work, means the construction of the buildings. Okay. After the sanction and disbursement of the first installment of the loan from the financial institution, building construction activities are started. After getting a financial assistance in the form of term loan from the financial institution, the entrepreneur can start the work of constructing a building which is necessary to carry on the business operations. If the pre-built factory shed is obtained from the government, pre-built, the building which has been already pre-built, before means mundugane katti bettindi. Okay, pre-built shed that they are getting from the government, means from the state government, the industrial estates, or from the state industrial estates. These activities already completed by taking the possession of the shed. Okay, these activity means in order to occupy that shed will be taken by taking the position in that shed by the entrepreneur. So if you are getting the shed from the industrial shed from the state government or state industrial estates, in that case there is no need to go for the civil work. If you don't have that facility and you have purchased the land, in such case you have to go for the construction task. If the plot is already acquired, the civil work followed. Before getting the shed only you have taken some land for the construction purpose, then you can follow the civil work. No need to go for the such type of industrial sheds. Step 5, placement of order and procurement of fixed assets and plant and machinery. See here, the fixed assets means the plant and machinery, furniture, equipment, tools, those are things which are necessary to carry out the day-to-day activities or day-to-day operations of the firm. Those things are necessary. So the orders are placed within the selected suppliers. The timing of the placing the order are decided on the delivery of the supplier, so that the procurement of the plant and machinery should synchronize with the completion of the building construction. So what is here means, when the building is totally completed, in that case there should not be any kind of time gap between the construction of the building or the completion of the building work and the placement of machinery in the building. So there should not be any gap. When the building is ready for operations of the business, at that time the machinery is also available for manufacturing activities. So the order should be placed in such a way that there should not be any kind of delay. And when you are placing the order, you have to consider one more thing. You have to consider when the supplier is going to deliver, means how many days or how much time the supplier will take in order to deliver that particular plant or machinery or furniture, whatever it may be in the fixed asset. So what is required, if whatever the time that supplier is taking, based on the time and the completion of the building work, based on that, considering these two things, you have to place the order of for fixed assets or for plant and machinery or equipments. Next, step 6, power and water connection. So power and water connection is very important for the manufacturing industries. Without these, they can't do any work. Yes, as the application for power and water connection has already been made, the required facilities are the required formalities are completed and water electricity connections are obtained. If you are given application for the electricity and for the water, then if there are given the permission and you have that facility, then you can move on with that. Step 7, procurement of personnel and their training. So here, untrained, unmotivated employees can cause a business to fail just as surely as strong competition or economic downtowns. So if the employees are not trained, if the employees they don't know how to use the machineries which have been placed order, which are going to become within a short duration. Within a short duration, if the supplier is ready to supply those plant and machinery or equipments, whatever it may be, but the persons who are appointed or recruited as the employees of the industry, in that case, if they don't know how to work, they don't have particular training, in that sense you have to send them for training how to use that machinery. If there is certain type of struck or repair arises, in that case also they can have the capability to repair it and use it again. So that type of training should be given to the personnel, means to the employees. If the employee is well trained and well motivated, then they can start the work very effectively and the work operations can be go on very good, so that this industry can be stand as a competition in the economical world. Otherwise it will 100% going to be fail. Step 8, procurement of raw material. So the new entrepreneur will have to ensure timely flow of raw material in anticipation of actual requirement before launching his new product. So before launching the new product, whatever the raw material required in order to launch such a product, they should have to procure that raw material first of all. Because if they have given the announcement of launching a new product, but they don't have any raw material regarding the particular product, in that sense the image and the goodwill of these enterprise will going to be fall and it will be spoiled. Once the goodwill is spoiled, no one financial institution or banks will come forward to give the loans, means term loans. So whatever the raw material required for the new product, that should have to be placed order immediately when they are decided to start a new product production. Okay, this is about the step. Yes, 9th step, installation and commission of plant and machinery. Now it is installing the plant and machinery. The entrepreneur should formulate a suitable layout which would facilitate the production operation in the best possible manner. If the enterprise is so planned as to produce several products, it is known as a multi-product firm. So what the entrepreneur is going to be launched, which type of product is going to be launched, if he decided, if he make the good plan regarding the launching of that product, then there is no problem. If the entrepreneur is going to launch a number of products, several products into the market, then that frame is considered as a multi-product firm. Then it is known as multi-product firm. Next, step 10, marketing. Marketing is the main important thing in order to achieve the good reputation, goodwill, along with the they can rise the market value of the shares, and they can earn the profit if the marketing is good. Okay, in order to get good marketing, good strategic plans are needed. With this good strategy, they can achieve the customers. So they have to motivate the customer regarding the product. They have to bring awareness in the customer about the product. Without awareness, without the motivation, these things will become impossible. So there should be proper motivation, and the motivation should be connected with the objective of the enterprise. Step 11, permanent registration. So after completing these all things, within the 7 days of the receipt of application, if you are applying after all the arrangements are done, the final stage is over, then the product is also ready, you are going to marketing, then in that case you have to apply within after the application of whatever the application you have submitted. After that, within the 7 days, the district industries officer or the other designated officer inform the party the date and time for inspection of units. So whatever the units you have arranged, whether it is a water, whether it is a power, whether it is a machinery or plant or building, whatever it may be, finance, whatever units that are required, employees, anything. So whatever the units you have totally gathered till up to the step 10, so those all things are get inspected by the one gazetted officer or district industries officer. So if they are satisfied, then ultimately they will issue the permanent registration certificate to the entrepreneur. Step 12, profit generation and repayment of the loan. So after getting the permanent registration, now the entrepreneur should have to generate the profits by giving quality goods and good service to the customer, and also whatever the loans they have raised from the financial assistance, means just like from financial institutions or the banks, so they have to pay those loans to them. So this is about the implementation stage. So let us meet with some other topic in the next session. Good morning, ma. Welcome to Alpha Online Education Commerce Theory part for the second year's English medium. So this is the 5th session of the chapter 6, and we are going to discuss here the entrepreneur opportunities in Telangana state, which is very important question in the exam point of view. So let us see what are the opportunities that are given by the Telangana government to the entrepreneur, okay, to the enterprises or entrepreneurs. What type of facilities are given by the Telangana government? Let us focus on this. So the first one is an online and help disk grievance residual system is available in the place where entrepreneur is encouraged to report instance as corruption of any delay in performing timely task by Telangana state government departments. So the entrepreneur is given the freedom, they given the protection. If anything happening, if any application approval or any issue of an application or the certificate, if there is a delay, if there is more delay than the specified time limit, if there is a more delay in the sanctioning of a certificate or sanctioning of any particular thing or for the renewal for whatever it may be, if there is such a complaint arises or any injustice happen to the entrepreneur, in such case there can appeal to the help disk grievance in order to get the justice. And if anyone asks corruption, if anyone asks for corruption, if anyone do the corruption, or if anyone asks money in order to issue a certificate, then it can be informed to the help disk grievance for the help, in order to get the help from such a grievancy, that whatever the issue arising, whether it may be a corruption issue or whether it may be a delay in the issue of the certificate, that will be settled by these type of help desk. The departments have developed a minimum inspection system. So the departments have to inspect, okay. The departments have been developed in such a way that minimum inspection is needed for every industrial unit, okay, where each industrial unit is inspected only once 3/4 years, okay. For every once 3/4 year, every industry is inspected by the higher designated officers, and the circle of inspection be fixed in advance, okay. Whether the circle of inspection is fixed in advance or they inform that they are going to inspect the industry, or they will do the inspections regularly after the 3/4 years. Next, self-certification is encouraged and automatic renewals are implemented. So self-certification means self-certificate verification is encouraged. How they are encouraging these means with the online. There is a web-based e-helpline. E-helpline means electronic helpline, facilitated as well as physical help desk at Hyderabad and district headquarters. So at the district headquarters and at the Hyderabad, there is one facility, that physical help desk, or you can go to the web-based e-helpline in order to do the renewal of your industrial certificates, or for the implementation, for the renewal implementation also you can appeal for this physical help desk, or you can go for the web-based e-helpline facility. So whichever is better for you, you can go for that, and you can make automatic inspection of your units, and you can get the certificate of the inspection or renewal. The government introduced a Telangana State Industrial Project Approval and Certification System, TS-IPAS, whereby a right to single window clearancy on the lines of right to information. So the state government, the Telangana state government has, they have introduced a system. So it will give a overall clearancy certificate, means everything is fine, everything is going on according to the government rules and regulations. In that way, they will inspect and give a single window clearancy certificate, okay. Next, the government recognized the 14 sectors as trust areas, investment in which will be accorded a higher priority over others. So the government of Telangana has recognized the 14 areas as the trust areas, okay, recognized as the trust areas, and the investment in these areas is more important than the investment in other sectors. So what are those areas means, the trust areas are some of the areas I have written here. The rest of the things are in your textbooks. So life science, including bulk drugs, formulations, vaccines, biological, etc. So these are the some of the areas in which the government of Telangana focus more. IT hardware, including biomedical devices, electronics, cellular communications, plastic and polymers, chemicals and petrochemicals, germs and jewelry, wastage management and green technologies, mineral based and wood based industries, etc. So on these 14 industries, the government of Telangana has given a special attention to these trust areas, and these type of industrial units are declared as the trust areas, and investment in which will be accounted higher priority. So investment in this sector, for this purpose, the government of Telangana encouraging more of the domestic investors and also the foreign investors to invest in these type of industries. So let us move on to the next topic here, that is about the formal. So the special provision formalities for the micro, small and medium enterprises are as follows. So in order to start the micro, small, medium enterprises, there are some formalities or procedures are there. Let us see what are those. Adequate number of smaller plots in industrial parks for small, medium enterprises and develop sheds for micro units. Okay. There are some in the industrial park, there are some of the plots. Okay, there are some of the plots are allotted for the small and medium enterprises or industrial units, and for the micro units there are industrial sheds. Special funds for addressing incipient sickness. So special fund, incipient sickness means here if the industry is not working properly, if the small scale industry or medium scale industry or micro industrial unit, if they are not working, they are facing number of losses. In such case, the government will provide the fund for the repair of those sick units. Special funds for IP registration assistance. Okay, in order to get IP registration, the government will give special fund. Special fund for anti-pirating assistance. Okay, in order to get the special funds are given for the anti-pirating assistance means who are opposed, for them they are giving special fund. Special fund for technology transfer and modernization of MSME sector. Okay, whatever the old technology is, traditional technology is there, the technology is replaced with the modern sector technology. Reimbursement of the land conversion charges for units in own land. So if there is a registration happened and the charges are levied on the land which is the own land of the entrepreneur, in such case the government will give certain amount to return back to that entrepreneur, that is reimbursement. Marketing assistance to participate in national and international trade shows buyer seller meets. So it provides the marketing assistance, means national and international trade is also encouraged by the Telangana government in certain areas. Consultant panel to respond to MSME entrepreneur needs. So there will be one consultant panel, it will be respond to the needs, whatever the needs that are arising in the micro, small and medium enterprises, according to the needs, whatever the fund means, fund requirement, if any other requirements are needed. So at that time these special consultant panels will work for the development. Next, decentralizing procedure for issue of license and permission to micro enterprises at the level of industrial promotion officers. So decentralization means the dividing the total power into small divisions. So these power is splitted, because if the total power will be in one hand, there will be chances of misusing that. So that's why they are dividing the total power and they are giving permission to issue of the license. Okay, permissions or license to the micro enterprises. So the industrial promotion officers will issue this type of license or permission for the industrial units. So these are the some of the opportunities in Telangana state for the entrepreneurs. The remaining whatever the things we have remained, those things we will discuss in the next session. Good morning ma, welcome to Alpha Online Education, Commerce Theory part for the second years, English medium. The chapter that we are dealing with, that is the 6th chapter, setting up of a business. So this is the 6th session of the chapter. So in the previous session we have discussing how the Telangana government is moving its steps for the development of the industrial units in the Telangana, whether it may be micro units or small scale industrial units or medium industrial units. So whatever it may be, the government of Telangana taking few steps for the development of those industries. So in this session also we are going to study about how the government of Telangana is helping for the development of the industrial units. So the Telangana state government industrial park is developed in such a way that along with the anchored units, so the Telangana industrial parks, so industrial park means, so the place where the number of industries can be started the place is facilitated with the water, electricity and the necessary things which are necessary in order to continue the industrial work without any kind of disturbance or any kind of stoppage. Okay. So anchor units means this is generally used for the ships or boats in order to hold the ship at a particular place. They will use an anchor. Okay, so in the industrial units, near the industrial units, there will be anchor units. Anchor units means those industrial units are near to the seaports also. Anchorage plots are made available for setting up suppliers vendor part. So these industrial parks are encouraging the suppliers to supply the raw material which is necessary for the industrial units. Okay, the suppliers will be coming from the different places. So these anchor units will help the suppliers to come in the waterway and also to supply the necessary goods or raw material to the industrial units of the industrial park. The government created a maintenance fund jointly with the industries and associations. So the government has maintaining a fund in order to maintain both industries and their industrial associations. In order to handle both of these two, the government is maintaining a separate fund for them. Okay, which will act as a safety net for the small medium enterprises that face many crises and run the risk on imminent sickness. So when the government is maintaining a separate fund for the industries and their association, it will help the government and also for the small medium enterprises. Okay, it will helping the small medium enterprises in order to continue their industrial work without any stoppage. Okay, there will be no any kind of risk for them. It will protect the total industrial unit and their associations. So for this purpose also the government is maintaining a separate maintenance fund. So if the industries are sick, means they are facing the losses or they are in risk, these maintenance funds is used by the government to protect those industries which are sick. Special support to SC/ST enterprises is offered through TS Pride. Special support is given by the Telangana government to the enterprises of SC/ST enterprises. SC/ST enterprises means SC stands for scheduled caste and ST stands for scheduled tribe. So these are the backward classes. For the development of these SC/ST enterprises, the government is offering a TS Pride, that abbreviated as TS Pride. It means Telangana Program for Rapid Incubation of Dalit Enterprise Needs. Okay, so TS Pride stands for Telangana State Program for Rapid Incubation of Dalit Enterprises. So for the development of these Dalit enterprises and for the rapid incubation, means rapid development, fast development of these enterprises, the government of Telangana taking the support steps. Yes. So some of the activities are as follows. So now I am going to explain you some of the activities or some of the supporting steps which the government of Telangana has been taken to support these SC/ST enterprises. So first one, a special direct funding program for financing SC/ST enterprises. So the first one is a special direct funding program. Means the government of Telangana will give special fund for them in order to develop SC/ST enterprises. Payment of margin money on behalf of SC/ST entrepreneurs by the government and creation of ₹5 crores for margin money refund scheme. So government of Telangana giving a money margin for the SC/ST entrepreneurs, that is up to the ₹5 crores in order to start the industrial units by these enterprises. So these all are the supporting things which the government is providing. Preferential allotment of plots in industrial parks. So some preferential, there will be certain reservation for them. So those area in the industrial park is completely allotted for the ST/SC entrepreneurs. Okay. reservation of 22% of land in the industrial estate. If the total industrial estate is 100%, in that 22% there is a complete reservation for the SC/ST entrepreneurs. Okay, no one can, other caste person can't able to do the work in that place. They can't just start the industrial units in those places, which is completely reserved for SC/ST entrepreneurs. Supplier diversity opportunities in large industries. So diversified means dividing. The suppliers are divided. Okay, they can supply to even large industries also. They are motivating. Okay, the suppliers are diversified and they are giving number of opportunities. They are providing, the government is providing the opportunities for the suppliers in the large industries also. State departmental procurement policy in turn with GOIS, small medium entrepreneurs procurement policy of 20%. So state government, the state departmental procurement policy, okay, for the departmental procurement, for the development of the departments, for that purpose 20% for the development of these industrial units, the government is providing a special attention. Organizing intensive entrepreneurs and skill development programs. Okay, intensive entrepreneurs means more updated entrepreneurs and also skill development programs. If the entrepreneurs are not having such a skills which are required in order to continue the industrial units, if they don't have that skills, in such case also the government is providing such a skill development programs. Interest subsidy for service sector. So they are providing the interest subsidy. It means that if they are taking the loan, okay, these SC/ST entrepreneurs are taking the loan, in such case there is no interest is charged or the subsidy, means the government will pay the interest on behalf of them. Okay, units other than the transport sector. So for the transport sector they have to pay. For the interest on the loans there is no need to pay. Organizations like Dalit India Chamber of Commerce and Industry involved in planning, implementing and monitoring the special programs for SC/ST. So for the development of the SC/ST, the Dalit Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, those are involved in the planning and implementing and motivating the special programs, such kind of programs which will develop these sections of the people, sections of the people economically, and also in order to bring them forward towards the development, either both in technological development and also the skill development. For this purpose the government of Telangana providing these many schemes and the special programs are completely allotted for the SC/ST entrepreneurs. Special types of reservations are also providing. These all are doing according to the Dalit Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industrial Development. So that is a plan for the development of the industrial units in the Telangana state. So in this way the government of Telangana is concentrating on them. To improve the productivity and income of the traditional art and handicraft, okay, to improve the productivity and the income of the traditional means, just we tell traditional means Vamsha Paramparanga vachedi traditional ga, okay. Traditional and also handcraft means they made the things with the hand, okay, hand looming, yes, hand looms, those things, and also making some of the craft things with the hand, those things are known as handcrafts, okay, like Nirmal paintings, Dokra metal work, textiles like Pochampalli Ikat, Gadwal sarees and Warangal carpets. The government of Telangana providing various programs under T. Harat Telangana state. So Harat means Telangana Handicraft and Artisan Revival with Technology program. So the government of Telangana, in order to develop the handicraft and handcraft and artisans. Okay, in order to develop the handcraft and artisans, the Telangana government has introduced a program. That program is known as Telangana State Handcraft and Artisan Revival with Telangana. With technology program. With technology program means the government providing some type of technology, advanced technology type of missionaries to them in order to complete the work very effectively and efficiently. So what are the things the government is providing? Let us focus. Cluster approach for specific arts and crafts. So in order to do the different types of arts and also the craft, the government is providing the cluster approach. Identification and documentation of arts and craft. So what are the arts, the craft they are doing? For that the government is providing certain identification. Technology upgradation and design support centers. Okay, technology, what is the traditional technologies, the traditional things they are using? They are replacing it with the technology, and also designer support centers. Okay, new types of designs are also bringing in the craft world. Skill upgradation and quality improvement. Okay, in order to develop the skills and the quality, okay, quality of the product improvement, for that purpose trading is also giving to these handcraft persons. Common facility centers, registration support. Okay, they are giving registration support also, and common facilities like water, power, what are the things necessary, those things are also providing. Niche product development. Niche is nothing but, I have written the meanings, small specialized market for a particular product or service. So it is a small market, it is a specialized market where that particular product is completely special. For example, if we take Pochampalli Ikat, see, that is in Pochampalli, the sarees and dress materials, whatever it may be, it will be completely very beautiful. And also the Gadwal sarees, the most of the women, they like the Gadwal sarees very much, and it is very expensive too. These Pochampalli, Gadwal, these things are very expensive because they are handmade, right? So machine making or the technology related things are different comparing to the handmade. So there is very expensive for these types of activities. They will charge usually a high amount of cost. So these are the some of the things. Okay, more things are there which we are topics are there which we are going to discuss in the 7th session. This is the 6th session. In the 7th session we are going to discuss the remaining sectors on which the government of Telangana is focusing, and how they are focusing, and what type of development activities for the development the government of Telangana, what type of activities are implementing. That is, we focus in the next session. Okay, right. Good morning, ma. Welcome to Alpha Online Education. Commerce theory part for the second year's English medium. The chapter that we are dealing with, the 6th chapter, and this is the 7th session of the chapter. So what are the things the government of Telangana is providing to the remaining sectors? Let us focus. The government is actually promoting the participation of Telangana small and medium enterprises in the trade affairs, exposition, buyer-seller meets and other such events. So the government of Telangana encouraging the medium and small enterprises to involve in the trade affairs, expositions and buyer-seller meets. So the government encouraging these small units to come forward and participate in each and everything, how the large and big industrial units are performing. About 20 lakh acres of land is identified as a unit for cultivation in Telangana. So 20 lakh acres of land, okay, 20 lakh acres of land in Telangana is identified for the cultivation, but which is transferred to the Telangana State Industrial Infrastructure Corporation. The land which is identified for the cultivation in Telangana, that has been transferred to the industrial units, okay, that has been transferred to the Telangana State Industrial Infrastructure Corporation, that is TSIIC, okay, for establishing industrial parks. The 20 acres of land is transferred to the Telangana State Industrial Infrastructure Corporation to establish industrial parks. The IIC develops all required infrastructure in the industrial parks. So, the Telangana State Industrial Infrastructure Corporation has developed those all infrastructure facilities which are necessary in order to continue the industrial units in those industrial parks. What are those facilities? Means like approach roads, means they are approach roads, means they are attached to national highways, water supply, industrial tower, and etc. These things are provided infrastructure facilities by the Telangana State Industrial Infrastructure Corporation. The government of Telangana is earmarking 10% of water from all existing and new irrigation sources for industrial use. So 10% of the irrigation, that water is completely transferring to the industrial units development. So the industries required the water and power both for their day-to-day operations. So the Telangana government is giving 10% of water from all existing and new irrigation sources. Okay. The skill development programs which are aimed to train the young entrepreneurs are undertaken by the Telangana State Accelerate SSI Skill Training Center for the Industries and Commerce Development Department. Okay, for the development of the young entrepreneurs. In order to develop the young entrepreneurs, the Telangana government has undertaken a program, that is Telangana State Accelerated Skill Training Centers. Okay, means the Telangana government is going to develop the skills, those skills which are necessary for the young youth entrepreneurs in order to become a successful entrepreneur and also to start the industrial units in the industrial parks. So, the Telangana State Industrial Development and Entrepreneur Advancement Incentive Scheme is offering the following incentives to the entrepreneurs. So, the Telangana State Industrial Development, okay, and the Entrepreneur Advancement Incentive Scheme, these things are offering special types of things for the incentive to the entrepreneurs. Some of the incentives means some of the motivation is giving to the new entrepreneurs by the Telangana government, and they are started some of the schemes. Okay, so what are those? Let us see. Stamp duty reimbursement. Stamp duty reimbursement means if they are paying, if these entrepreneurs are paying a lot of amount of stamp duty, in such case the Telangana government is refunding those things, means repaying those stamp duty again to those entrepreneurs. Land cost rebate. If they are purchasing the land at a higher cost, then the government is giving back a certain fund back to those entrepreneurs. Land conversion cost. So in order to convert the land, means in order to convert the registration, for that whatever the cost will be occurred, for that also the government is giving back money. Power cost reimbursement. Whatever the power cost is happened when they are using the power, whatever the power cost is happened, for that when they are paying that bill, power bill, for that also the government is giving refund, means reimbursement. Investment subsidy. So for whatever the investments they are doing, for that the government is providing certain loans, and the government is just not taking any kind of principal amount or interest amount from those entrepreneurs, just providing loans. That's it. Just like for the farmers nowadays, the government is giving that Raitu Bandhu, same way they are giving the investment subsidy. Next, VAT reimbursement. VAT is a tax, value added tax. Okay, VAT means value added tax. If there is a VAT, then the government is giving the reimbursement facility for the entrepreneurs. Interest subsidy. So, if what I have told you before, that if the government is giving any kind of loan, on that loan, no need to pay the principal amount, no need to pay the interest. Just I told about the farmers, what the government of Telangana has given for the farmers. In the same way, these will be also applicable for the industries. Next thing is seed capital for first generation entrepreneur. So they're providing the seed capital, means the first capital which is needed for the first generation entrepreneur. Means first generation entrepreneur means the entrepreneur who is newly entering into this industrial unit. He has not been entered even before. Training and skill development cost reimbursement. If they are getting any training or for that training any cost is occurred, for that also the government of Telangana is going to give reimbursement facility, and etc. facilities are providing by the government of Telangana. This is very important question in the exam point of view. No need to worry. Just like they will ask questions individually. Write the benefits, whatever the benefits giving by the Telangana government to the SC/ST entrepreneurs in this way, or write some of the important facilities which are giving by the Industrial Infrastructure Corporation, okay, IIC, TSIIC. Explain about handcraft and artisans schemes. So in this way they will ask the question. So you have to read these all the topics what we have discussed. Very much important question. Yes. Next, startups. Startups means in the name itself there is there meaning. Start up means starting stage, the first stage. Okay. A startup is a company that is in the first stage of its operation, means it is in the initial stage, in the first stage of its operation. Okay. Startup companies attempt to capitalize on developing a product or service for which the entrepreneur believes that there is a demand in the market. So these companies, startups means the companies which are going to launch such a product or the service in the market, that these entrepreneur will believe that there is such demand for those product or service in the market. For taking that demand as a target, they are going to focus on it. Okay, in the earlier stage of any startup, life expenses are more than revenue because of the reason that finance raised from sources like banks, development institutions, NBFCs and private loans. So in the initial stage, in the first stage of these startups, of these enterprises, in the first stage they can't able to generate more profits, but they have to face more expenses, and also they have to face some of the losses also. Sometimes they have to face the losses also in the starting stage, because in the starting stage, how when we are child, we can't able to stand properly, we will fall number of times. After falling number of times we stand up. In the same way the company is also, it fall number of times in the starting stage, and later it will become the topmost company. One company or one thing, even in the life also, if a person is reaching to the heights, it doesn't mean he is doing some magic or he is doing some type of techniques. It is just based on them hard work. Here also, if the entrepreneur do the hard work, if he do the work very smartly, then he can rise his company very easily. But in the initial stage, whether the company or industry, whatever it may be, it has to face the number of losses, and also it has to face some type of expenses, and they can't able to generate more revenue. Revenue means income or profit. So they can't able to generate that thing, but they can generate more expenses and more amount of cost they have to spend in the initial stage of the startup. So prerequisites, company age. The period of existence or operation should not exceed 10 years from the date of incorporation. So the existence of the company should not exceed the 10 years from the date of its incorporation. Date of its incorporation. Incorporation means from the date of its registration, it should not exceed the time duration of the 10 years. Okay. So the remaining prerequisites we will discuss in the next session. In the 8th session, we have complete topic regarding the startup. In detail, we are going to discuss the stages of startup in the next session. Good morning, ma. Welcome to Alpha Online Education. Commerce theory part for the second year's English medium. The chapter that you are dealing with, that is the 6th chapter, setting up a business. So this is the 8th session of the chapter. So now we are going to know how to set, okay, how to start up a business, okay. So in the previous video we have started the topic that is prerequisite. So that is a continuation of this. Company type, okay, incorporate as a private limited company, a registered private partnership firm or a limited liability partnership. So it should be incorporated as a private limited company, whether it is as a partnership firm or limited liability partnership, okay. That business should be, that company should be incorporated as a partnership firm or limited liability partnership. Next, annual turnover. So what will be the annual turnover? Should have an annual turnover not exceeding rupees 100 crores for any of the financial year since its incorporation. So since its incorporation, it should not exceed the its turnover every year should not exceed rupees 100 crores. The turnover they should not have to exceed. Next, original entity should not have been formed by splitting up or reconstructing an already existing business. So the business organization should not be formed as splitting up, means it is already split, okay, divided. It should not be formed in the division form and reconstructed already existing business which has facing the losses and someone has started up that business. That is not considered. It should be an original entity, means it should be started with a new initial stage, okay. Next, innovative and scalable, should work towards development or improvement of product, process or service, okay, and or have scalable business model with high potential for creation of wealth and employment. So the business should be done in such a way that it should generate a good wealth and also employment opportunities for the eligible persons, and also it should develop and improve the product or either a service or the process what they are doing, that should be developed and it should be improved. By that only they can generate a good wealth in the society and good reputation in the society. With that good reputation and good wealth, they can give the employment to the number of eligible youth. So next is the registration of the startup. So what the procedure is there for the registration of the startup, we will see in these. So incorporating the business. The first stage, the entrepreneur has to first incorporate their business as a private limited company or partnership firm or limited liability partnership. The business entrepreneur in the first initial step, they have to incorporate, okay, they have to incorporate the business as either a private limited company or partnership firm or limited liability partnership. Limited liability partnership means that the partner's personal property is not considered, even if there is a debt or if there is a loss arise in the firm, even though their personal property will not touch, only the value of the shares will be taken into consideration. Registrating as a startup, and it should be registered as a startup, means it is an original entry. It is not going to take up the business which is already in the stage of reconstruction. It is not going to take up some other's business. It is starting its own business in the original initial stage, okay. The entrepreneurs have to register their startup as a startups. For these, they have to fulfill the form online log on the Startup India website and the Telangana state website. So there are some of the online websites. For that they have to log in, okay. By logging that, there are two websites. One is Startup India website and another is Telangana state website. Okay, they have to log into it. The application form to be filled with the details of the business. So whatever the business details are there, with that the application formalities have to be completed. Next, uploading the documents. The following documents are also have to be uploaded. Letter of commencement, recommendation or support. Okay, which government is supporting, or which corporations or which type of schemes are supporting. Those things have to be they have to be uploaded. Certificate of incorporation of the company. Okay. Next, registration certificate in case of partnership form. So in case of partnership form, they have to submit one more thing, that is the registration certificate as a partnership form. So this is the registration of the startup. Now in this session only we are going to study about the funding of the startups. Okay. So in the funding procedure we have these types of funding for the startups. The first one is organic growth. Organic growth means the entrepreneur is not going to raise the fund from the outside, means from the external source. He will just raise the fund by selling the product what he is actually manufactured. That product only he is going to sell. With the sale, whatever the profit he will generate, with that only he will slowly grow. Next, startup loan. So this is the startup loan, that is a trading longer than 2 years is eligible. If the entrepreneur is trading their business that is more than 2 years, then they are eligible to get these type of a startup loan. Next, friends and families. So from the friend and family or from the colleagues, the entrepreneur can raise the fund, means these all are external sources of raising the fund. Okay. Next, personal savings. If the entrepreneur has a personal saving, from that personal savings also he can raise the fund. Suppliers credit. Normally credit period of 30 days. So supplier from whom they are taking the raw material or any other thing which is necessary for the manufacturing of a particular product, they can take it on the credit basis without paying the cash immediately, and they can repay the amount later. The time duration should not exceed the 30 days, means nearly 1 month. Customer credit. So certain times the customer will the entrepreneur will take the advance from the customer in order to manufacture certain types of goods. If the customer give the order of certain types of goods, in such case the entrepreneur will take the order amount in advance from the customer, and with that amount he will manufacture that product and sell it to the customer. Leasing, it is a rental agreement. Lease is a rental agreement. Every month they have to pay the rent. Okay, same how the rent is there, in the same way the lease is also a rental agreement. Term loans range from short to long term. So these are the term loans, short term loans, long term loans, these medium term loans. These loans are given in order to continue the business activities. Asset finance, which work as the same way as mortgage, means we have to keep certain asset in the mortgage, and from whom we are mortgaging, that person will give certain fund to us, and we can utilize that fund as a source for the startup. Factoring, it is a transaction in which the business sell its accounts receivables or invoices to a third party. So accounts receivable and also the invoices, okay, those things are going to be sold by the business to the third party. By selling those things, they can raise the fund for the startup. Crowdfunding means they are raising a very small units of fund from a large number of individuals. From the friends, from the family, from the colleagues, and from the relatives, they can raise huge amount of, they can raise the amount in small quantity, but they can raise from a large amount of individuals. That is crowdfunding, means crowd means large number of individuals. Credit cards, we know credit cards. What is the credit card? ATM card is a debit card. Credit card means those cards with which we can raise the amount more than the limit. Okay, business loans. So business loans are given by the banks by taking some of the things under the mortgage as a security. If the loan is not paid, in such case the bank will replace that asset into the cash. Okay, for that purpose they will take one asset as a mortgage, under the mortgage as a security. Those are business loans. So this is about the startup procedure. Okay. Yes, let us meet in the other session with the great personalities who are making the business as their habit. Okay, we will meet in the next session about with a new topic of the great personalities who are becoming the rich millionaires with their hard work and the effort. What are the stories behind their hard work? We will focus on that in the next session. Good morning, ma. Welcome to Alpha Online Education. Commerce theory part for the second year's English medium. The chapter that we are dealing with, setting up a business. So this is the 9th session and the last session of this chapter. So in this session we are going to study about the successful entrepreneurs. So first one is Mukesh Dhirubhai Ambani. So he was born in 19th April 1957. Okay. Mukesh Dhirubhai Ambani born on 19th April 1957. He was in Yemen with his father, who moved back to India in 1958 to start a business in species and textiles. So he was in Yemen with his father and they have moved back to India in 1958 in order to start a business of species and textile in India. Ambani is educated from the Bombay and received engineering degree in chemical engineering from the Institute of Chemical Technology. So Mukesh Ambani has received the degree in chemical engineering. He done the engineering in chemistry. Okay, so he done the engineering and he received the degree, engineering degree from the Institute of Chemical Technology. In 1981, he started to help his father Dhirubhai Ambani's family business Reliance Industries Limited. So in 1981, he started to help his father Dhirubhai Ambani in their family business, that is Reliance Industries Limited. The business include refining and petrochemicals, retail business, telecommunication. So the Reliance Industry Limited contains the following things, that are refining and petrochemicals, retail business and telecommunication. Okay, the Reliance chairman Mukesh Ambani was ranked by Forbes as the 5th wealthiest person in the world. So Mukesh Ambani has been ranked as the 5th wealthiest person in the world. Okay. The Reliance Industry Limited reported a dividend of rupees 6.5 per equity share of rupees 10 each in the year 2020. So the share value is rupees 10. For that they are paying the dividend, that is 6.5 dividend they are paying for one share, and that equity share value is 10 rupees. Okay. For 10 rupees share, they are paying the dividend of 6.5. See how much they are paying for the one share. Globally, he received a number of awards and honors like Young Entrepreneur of the Year. So globally, in the total world, he received number of awards for his business, how he take up his business and how he taken strategies in order to achieve a good reputation in the society. For that he was given a number of awards and he was honored with a number of titles. So Young Entrepreneur of the Year Award, Global Vision Award, Millennium Business Leader of the Decade, etc. So these type of honorable awards are given to Mukesh Ambani. Reliance Industry Limited became India's first $150 billion company from the leading global investors including Facebook. Yes, it was the first Indian company with US dollar, that is 150 billion. Okay, so this company was standing as a leading company in the global investors. including the Facebook. Okay, so this is about the history of the Mukesh Dhirubhai Ambani and his successful life. And next, Lakshmi Nivas Mittal. So he is an Indian born steel magnate who is currently in UK. So he was born in India and he was currently in UK. He is known as the king of steel. So Mittal is known as the king of steel. He is the chairman and CEO of Arcelor Mittal, the world's biggest steel maker whose revenue is $70.6 billion. So he was the chairman and the CEO of the world's biggest steel maker. Okay, he was the world's biggest steel maker and he was the chairman and CEO of Arcelor Mittal, and they have the revenue that is $70.6 billion. He separated his sibling to start Mittal Steel, then he went on to merge the company with the France Arcelor in 2006. So in order to separate, he went and merged with the France company, steel company in 2006, but unfortunately he has faced the losses due to the fall in the price of the steel and increase in the cost of the raw material. So the company reported a net loss of $2.5 billion in 2019 due to low steel prices and higher raw material cost. Okay, due to high raw material cost and low steel prices in 2019, they have faced the loss of $2.5 billion. Mittal has donated rupees 3,300 crores in July 2020 to the Oxford University to develop COVID-19 vaccine. So in order to develop COVID-19 vaccine, he has given to the Oxford University 3,300 crores in July 2020. So up to here, your theory chapters are completed for the second years. So do hard work and read, don't waste the time. Prepare a good strategy for your success also. You should also be become successful like these personalities. Okay. So for the next generation, your name should be in the textbooks. In academic textbooks, your name should be with these successful person's name. Okay. All the best for your journey. Yes. Thank you, ma.